Sunday Night Live, end of the weekend. Oh, so sometimes the weekend stretches out a bit, and then it's just all gone. Anyway, work, and so many weird, fucked up things continue to happen in the world. We're going. Mega Leech has joined in the spam spirit. Yes, and I looked up. Has anything notable happened on this day? July 5, spam was first unleashed onto the market by the Hormel Company in 1937, and the world is richer for it. Hi, Luke, an invisible chicken. Luke, the original spam, spiced ham, luncheon meat, weird screwed together God knows what. Yes, the glory of spam is fast approaching its centenary. Actually, I suppose it's still a ways off, 17 years off, but fucking time flies is what I'm saying. Don't trust society. Hello. Especially, if society tries to lure you down a dark alley with the promise that there's something really cool just behind the dumpster. In that context, definitely do not trust society. It's going to lead you astray. Now, I put Aidsy in the thumbnail because hopefully he's going to be here, because he did text me earlier saying we're going to do the thing. And so I have sent him the link, and hopefully he's able to make it. Well, I mean, if he can't make it, then hopefully he's doing the right thing for him, because he is still in the hospital, and they may be doing something. Maybe he's getting a bit of sleep, which he always needs, a bit of medical attention. Maybe we'll see him at some point. He didn't. About 20 minutes ago, I sent him the link, and he didn't reply to that text. So I don't know if that means he's indisposed. But I guess we shall cope and soldier on one way or another. That's what soldiers do. They soldier on. It's a wild old thing. Of course, the big news in Melbourne is the Housing Commission towers that got subjected to total lockdown, because they're really fucking shitty buildings, and there was an outbreak of the Rona among residents of these buildings. And because of the pretty soul-crushing way these buildings are designed, there's only one or two elevators in each of these buildings, and there's one entrance exit. So basically, it is not possible for residents of these buildings to avoid close contact with other people. And so they're literally getting locked in their flats, and they're surrounded by the coppers. Hey, Annette. Heidi-ho. Hey, diddly-ho, neighborinos. Yeah, and the residents of these towers do not get to say hello to their neighbors, because apparently it's something like 500 cops deployed. Luke, high numbers of drugs and crimes, not particularly, I don't think. I think that's the type of slander conservative media likes to say about housing commission accommodations. It's not something I'd ever heard of. That is a really typical conservative Murdoch media slander. Catherine, hello and good evening to you. But yes, it's been very interesting looking at the reactions to this, which is a really quite extreme measure. Oh, and apparently the 500 cops, that's like 2 on every floor of every building, and also some on the perimeters of the building. So to get 2 cops on every floor of every building and some around the perimeter needs about 500 cops. So because, the rule is the people aren't even allowed to come out of the building. When it used to live the ex-cop mug there once. Hey, shit, it definitely happens. When was the last time I got jumped? On a train, probably. Have I? God, it only ever happened to me when I lived in Sydney, actually. Never that severe. But I did get jumped a couple of times when I lived in Sydney. And I think I had 1 or 2 near misses as well. So, Aidsy's got a few stories about that because having used his walking stick for about 20 years now, insight into just how shitty people are. Certain scumfucks took Aidsy as an easy target because, look, there's a person with a disability. They can't fight back if I attack them. And a friend of Aidsy's made him this metal walking stick that was really heavy and really hurt if you got hit with it. Just not that Aidsy ever really fucking smacked someone who tried to mug him, because that would be criminal, even in self-defense. So I'm just going on the record as saying Aidsy definitely never sconned any shitheads with his metal walking stick, because that would really fuck them up if he did, and that would be illegal, even though he was being targeted for violence because of his visible disability. Still, smacking guys in the head with his metal walking stick would be a criminal offense. So he absolutely, definitely never did that. I'll just put that out there now. Sorry, Annette, you've never been jumped or mugged, but you did get tickle attacked by lesbians at Mardi Gras once, though. I marshaled at Mardi Gras one year. They were just asking for volunteers, and I thought, marshalling, that's cool, getting involved. Also, uninterrupted view of the parade, because my job is to actually stop people from getting out of control. Bex, you're saying it sucks that we can't have tasers or pepper spray. Obviously, those things would get misused. And I don't just mean by criminals. I mean people who have them. It's kind of like, particularly in America, cops with guns. Why are they killing so many people? Well, they got guns, and it's just like, I could sort this out by shooting someone. There is a danger if you have a taser or pepper spray for defense. You end up using it in a situation where it's not completely called for. Much lesser a problem than people actually getting attacked, mind you. So, this is a workaround someone I know did. It was pretty wild. She kept a small can of oven cleaner in her bag, which is really fucked up stuff to spray in someone's face, right? They will really fucking, if someone attacks you and you spray them in the face with oven cleaner, they will really fucking regret that big time. But her thing was, because if you used it, or even if you didn't use it, if it's just for whatever reason, cops sometimes search you when you're in some venues and they found the oven cleaner, they could try and say, well, say you did use it. Say you sprayed someone in the face with it, and the cops are saying like, okay, this was a weapon with intent. But she had a contact, and I think they both did it, and it was a pre-arranged thing, saying, if I ever get busted with this, I'm going to say, no, my friend called me to come over to her place to help her, and she asked me to bring some oven cleaner with me to help with the cleaning. That is the only reason I have it. I don't normally carry it. And the cops go, we'll see about this. And they call this person and say, do you know this person? And they both had a prearranged script. If the cops called them and asked about this, they go, oh my God, she was coming over to my house to help me with some cleaning. I asked her to bring some oven cleaner. Is she okay? What's happened? Still not a guarantee of getting out of trouble, but it was a pretty cool plan, I thought. Hey, Megaleech. Luke, deodorant might deter someone. Not nearly as fucking much as oven cleaner, though. I was going to do a Mardi Gras story. I did marshalling, and it was all good, and people were all good. And one of the floats was like JF, which is kind of weird. It's like supposed to be like JFK motorcade because someone had a huge American convertible, and so there's a drag queen dressed up as Jackie Kennedy, and all these this lot in black suits, ties, being security running alongside it, and I was. They're going along, and I was between them and the crowd. And the security guards had this shtick where, you're a security risk, and they pat you down and feel you up. And I was like, oh, that's the most action I'm getting tonight, I guess. All right. Hey, Dr. Obama, how's it going? Don't trust us, you got caught with a corkscrew at a bus stop. Yeah, the cops are going to regard that as a weapon, most definitely. Locust Trooper, how's it going? And the fruit juice, another of my fruit juice cocktails. It's like bear spray, but milder. I don't know. Fucking. Oh, you mean the bear repellent spray? Yeah, apparently that's pretty fucking hardcore. Yeah. I was, for a second, I was thinking of those spray cans hunters have that have the animal urine in it, which is actually meant to attract the animal they're hunting. Spraying animal urine in someone's face would be pretty full on. Hey, Charlie, how's it going? Ooh, geez, Dr. Obama, the by-election. Close, wasn't it? Very close thing with Labor getting across the line in Eden Monaro. Yes. So in the end of the day, it's just like, Labor didn't lose, which would have been really bad for Albanese. Labor didn't win by a lot, which would have been bad for Morrison because he's pulling all the fucking scams with pork barreling and whatnot. So it's just going to, that happened. It's over now. Oh, Locust Trip, you actually started a CAD 3D printing business. Excellent. Well, you already had a nice little cottage industry going. It seems like it's definitely a good idea for you. Industry. It's a wonderful thing. Charlie, I did hear that predator pee, like a fox's or a cat's, is meant to repel vermin. I just also think it just smells very bad. So I don't know if like mice and rats are a worse problem than your house smelling like cat pee. I don't know. And I don't know the veracity of how well it works either. Locust Trip, you got heaps of people asking for your designs. Good. That is excellent stuff. That is excellent. All got to be pretty creative in this modern age with making things happen. It's just a thing. So I was just thinking about my work. It's like, I'm not being that creative. Yes, and I still actually don't know how long I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there at least this month. Got extended by a month, and that was supposedly to have enough time to consider exactly what budget there's going to be for the next year. In a perfect world, I keep this gig till the end of the financial year next year because it's a pretty good gig. And in these fraught and perilous times, a solid gig would be good. Oh, wow. Locust Trooper doing a design for me. Fucking legend, man. Love it. You have a mouse problem, Charlie? I had you're trying the Sonic one. I'd be interested if that works, because some people reckon they do and some people don't. I had a problem in a house. I was in a big shared house when I was at college and just saw a mice running across and said, okay, if you see a mouse, that means there's heaps more that you're not seeing, because you don't normally see a mouse. And I was seeing mouse run by. So I think we had a mouse trap in the house. And so I went out to the kitchen and set it, and then went back in the lounge room watching TV. And I swear to God, like 10 or 15 minutes after I said it, hear this snap. And I went, no, it wouldn't have got one already. Went out there, it had already got a mouse. So reset it. Got another one before we went to bed. So the next day I went to a shop, got 2 more mouse traps. So I set 3 mouse traps in different places. Got about 6, like basically 6 mice. The traps went off twice the next day. So I thought, how many fucking mice are there? So I bought half a dozen traps and put them all over the house. And then there was just this like mouse slaughter that lasted for about a week. And I think we killed 20 or 30 mice in a week. And then we didn't see so many, maybe as a folklore among the mouse that this was like the murder house, that we were killing all the mice in this house. Ooh, nice. Like it's Trooper, you're going to turn one of the pictures into a 3D print. Nice. Oh, dude, you're a legend. I love it. Okay, so I think it's working for you, Charlie. Well, that's good, because a sonic mouse repellent is very sort of non-destructive to the environment. It would be good. Look, mice have viruses that can kill you. Just cats do a thing that is like mind control. Toxoplasmosis can apparently affect some people adversely. But there's a story that is this. Okay, I'm going to look it up because I'm going to say something stupid. But cats can mind control mice with it, and there's a theory they can maybe mind control humans with it. It's a health thing. Toxoplasmosis. From the Mayo Clinic. That's a reputable outfit in the US. Disease results from infection with a Toxoplasma gondii parasite, one of the world's most common parasites. Infection usually occurs by eating undercooked contaminated meat, exposure from infected cat feces, or mother-to-child transmission during pregnancy. Can cause flu-like symptoms in some people. Most people never develop any signs or symptoms. For infants born to infected mothers, for people with a weakened immune system, toxoplasmosis can cause serious complications. There you go. So it can be bad. You may accidentally ingest the parasite if you touch your mouth after gardening, cleaning a litter box, or touching anything that's come into contact with infected cat feces. Cats who hunt or are fed raw meat are most likely to harbor the parasite. There you go. I don't think toxoplasmosis mind control. Yes, cat's mind control. What's this going to say? Oh, yes, this is the one. There's a theory that toxoplasmosis may strip away rodents' fear of predators. So it's a strange sort of mind control on rodents. Once infected with the brain parasite, they seem to lose their fear of cats, which makes them more likely to get eaten. And when they are, the microbe makes its way into the feline intestine to reproduce. So there's a theory the parasite makes mice more eager to explore, less fearful of any predator species. But man, parasites that fucking manipulate like that are wild. Can it make you obsessed with cats? There's a research to suggest cats' proximity to other mammals can cause them to behave strangely. This feline power has been attributed to a protozoan that lives in their stool. Yeah, there's a theory that if you really, really love cats, they may have infected you with toxoplasmosis that makes you love them, which is pretty weird. Oh, yeah, Locust Trooper, email. Just send to it's angry Aussie at gmail.com. So yeah, just as Gmail, but it's the email is it's angry Aussie at gmail.com. Charlie Tuckson's a good mouse. Quite a few dogs are good mouses, actually. There's a few terriers that are good mouses and ratters. There's a really funny / horrifying video I've seen a few times of a cat kind of toying with a mouse, like if I can, no, you're not getting away. But the cat's not attacking the mouse. But every time the mouse tries to run away, the cat kind of cuts it off, and the cat's playing with it. And this chicken just comes along and grabs the mouse and wolfs it down. And it's like, it's doubly horrifying. You talk to any chicken farmer, they'll tell you, like, yeah, chickens eat meat. But it hunts. It isn't just that it eats meat. It hunts live animals and devours them whole. Fucking terrifying. Kind of funny, though. Yes, Charlie's crazy cat lady disease. Do mice have hentavirus? I don't think so, Luke. That's a horse-borne virus, from what I remember. CrossFitter, in the book Train Spotting, one of the addicts dies from toxoplasmosis. And that's the thing. People with weakened immune systems, which is often the case with intravenous drug users, can actually die from toxoplasmosis. Hey, Kirsten, how's it going? Charlie, he made a similar variant. A cat was toying with a mouse, but the dachshund came and just chomped it down. Chomped it right down. Yeah. So chickens are just little dinosaurs, basically. So, like, Trippier, you finish with a yearly charity. Oh, yeah. No. We are actually getting, in terms of community transmission, we are getting significantly more cases now than at any stage. Oh, it's the AIDSy man. It's the AIDSy man.
Hello, peeps. Thanks for letting me be on your device. I nearly wasn't on your device because I got in trubs again at hospital. And we're going to be interrupted off of a nurse who's going to say, here, have this tablet that you've been waiting for 4 hours and complaining about for 6. And I'm going to have it, and it's going to be good.
Oh, well, we are brave and noble soldiers, and we'll deal with that as it comes up.
Thank you. Also, if you see anything behind me that shouldn't be there, just say, it's behind you, and I'll go.
Right. Yeah. We will play Panto. Oh my God, isn't that the weirdest fucking tradition? People in Australia don't really know about Panto, which tell us about, you know Panto.
I fucking live for Panto. Panto is my world. Panto is how I've made a career. So, okay, understand this about Panto before we begin. The trick to Panto is tell them you're about to do it, then do it in as big and flowery way as you can, then tell them that you've done it. And it's called pantomime, which is sky play, or sky players, and it's meant to be the most overblown thing you've ever seen. It's primarily a British tradition, and there are stock characters that come out of it. There's always a man dressed as a woman who speaks in a high falsetto voice, and I can't remember, she's Mother something.
I think the name might vary, but you're right. A key part is always a dude in drag.
Dude in drag.
I think the tradition was, like, it was a big British thing. It was like particularly like well-known BBC actors, when they were on their summer hiatus, like the show wasn't being made, they would do these touring panto shows, and that's how they made their money when they weren't working on TV. And so it was actually a really big deal.
It's a massive deal in Britain. And the best panto is staffed with the very best show people, and the royals come and see it.
Yes, big names. Yeah.
The royals come and see it on different nights. So let's say back in the day, Charlie and Harry, William and Harry would come one night, but you wouldn't know they were coming.
Yeah.
And they were all wearing formal dress. The Queen and her husband would come. Now, the Queen would be wearing as informal dress as the Queen wears, but the Prince Consort would be wearing a sports jacket with no tie. You know, I mean, you just come to the panto to have a good time, and it's very big into audience participation. The good guys are consistently being harassed by the bad guys who sneak up behind them, and all of the children are encouraged to go, he's behind you. I would hate it if the goblin came up and stole my jewels. I must hide them. He's behind you. What was that? He's behind you. And then you say, I'll just put my jewels down here so that I can hear you better. No, don't do that. And then the goblin comes up and steals the jewels, going, ha, 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 sus. And then everyone screams, he's stolen them, he's stolen. It's a riot. A riot breaks out. There's often a time when, for no real good reason, lollies and chocolate are thrown into the audience, and fruit, because this thing started back in the days when fruit was really expensive, and so to get a piece of orange was a big deal. To get a grape was a big deal, so they'd throw chocolate and lollies, and they still do throw fruit. But often in the form of dried fruit packets and, plastic stuff. It's all hygiene now, but they still do the old thing of I think it's the gentle fairy, or it's the giver of things that throws out the presents.
Yeah.
And she's a she. She's one of the prettiest actresses in England, and she is the one with the wand that she heals. Does she heal the hero?
Oh, Panto better be. There's quite a few people in the stream. Annette, I know Panto. Charlie loves Panto. Had a pommy neighbor who took them to Panto. Kirsten says only Philistines don't know Panto.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's really fair. If you talk to someone and go, it's like a Panto drag queen. They go, what's Panto? You go, friendship over.
Yep.
Don't talk to me. Don't be seen with me. Walk 10 paces behind me.
Yeah.
If I walk into a city, you walk out. If I find out where you live, men will be around to kneecap you.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's got to be like that.
It is.
It can't be any other way.
You know what I reckon the closest relative to Panto in Australia, besides the fact Pantos do happen in Australia, outside of Panto, I reckon the closest relative is theatre restaurants.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Fucking A. Not a uniquely Australian tradition, but we have made it unique to all other theatre restaurants in the world. Australian theatre restaurant is unique. In the sense that it is brash, it is fun. Because you go to a theatre restaurant expecting it to be a bit tacky, and it is tacky as fuck.
And they revel in it.
Much fun, because they'll come straight up to your family, to your table, and go, "Sing this." I can't and they look at you and go, sing this. And you don't get a choice. You go, and then the man stepped on the wall and jumped over, and there was fangs.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Keep it up. You're doing well.
Yeah.
Went
Ooh,
to mum.
Annette has another good one. Midnight showings of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's panto.
That's panto.
Yeah.
Because everyone comes in costumes.
Yeah.
Everyone dances and sings the songs. Everyone does the time warp. Sometimes you've got to be very careful where you are. Because when the dance finishes, you can have one whole column of people out of their seat, because you remember it's just a jump to the left,
yes,
step to the right, but you actually end up going left one whole seat, and then the people who've sat down have got to work out, hang on a minute, all those people over there are still standing up. So you get this whole theatre then shuffling over and letting them sit down. And there's giggling. And then there's gasps when the Rocky comes out. And then the beautiful thing comes out. Oh, it's just it's just stupid and fun.
Just to think how
and
many
then when Frankenfurter finally gets ousted as the boss and they're going home to transsexual, he deeply mourns the fact that they're going back, and all that's left are our two unlikely heroes that have had, Brad and Janet, who are the straightest couple ever, who've had the basting of their lives.
Yes, they had their sexual awakening in the house.
More the alarm clock going off at 4 o'clock in the morning for the plane trip. That was their awakening.
Yeah.
How you set 4 alarms really loud.
Yeah.
I
love it. There's lots of silly stuff in that. Still, one of my favorite bits is the Brad, Janet, Rocky, Dr. Furter, and it just keeps going. Brad, Janet, Rocky, Dr. Furter.
And they're all going, I can't believe you. I can't believe you. I can't believe you. I can believe you.
Because Brad did it with Frankenfurter and Janet did it with Rocky. And Frankenfurter is jealous of Rocky doing it with someone else. I think Janet's just embarrassed, and then Brad's also embarrassed by the whole thing.
And Frankenfurter also did it with Janet. And Frankenfurter also did it with Rocky. And so it goes on and on and on. And then finally they all turn to Frankenfurter and go, Frankenfurter. And that's the last thing they all go, hang on, you got in everyone, didn't you? And Frankenfurter goes, I was supposed to.
Yeah, so it's his house.
Yes, I'm supposed to. I'm the host. And that was pretty much all you get.
I was trying to think how many theatre restaurants there still are in Melbourne. I mean, there's 2 on the edge of the CBD. There's Witches in Breeches and Dracula. Dracula's is, it's just across the road from you, virtually. From your hospital. It's just across the other side of Carlton Gardens. The other side of Carlton Gardens is Dracula's.
Dracula's has been going straight.
Yeah.
Straight. It's been going for 20 years.
Yeah.
Unchanged. The show has been unchanged for 20 years. And people keep on going. People take wedding parties there. People take 21sts there. People take because most tables are a party of people celebrating something, and they tend to find out what they're celebrating, and they tend to make a big deal of it. If there's a birthday, look out.
Oh yeah.
Because you'll end up having your neck bitten. You'll end up having fake blood poured all down your front. You'll get love bites by all the cast, and then there's the photo at the end of the show, and then there's the photo during the show.
Yeah.
And at some point, usually if you're a lady, you're encouraged to get your tits out for the lads, and you would be amazed how many women do it. you would be fucking stunned how many women get their tits out. And we're talking between 30 and 80-year-old women will fucking flash for the audience, because it's made to feel like it's an enclosed space. They make it feel like there's no other universe but what we're doing. So you feel like all these people, you know them, because you're introduced table by table as to what they're celebrating, and you cheer them. And each person who's celebrating is brought out, and they don't make fun of them so much as make a big deal of them. And then they reference them through the night. They reference the parties, and they keep, because you've got to, the trick to a hen's night is you've got to keep on referencing people so that they feel like they've got the attention that they crave. And then you can get on with the organisation of the party. If you don't do it, if you don't keep on referencing the buck or the hen and their loud drunk friends, they will make their own fun, and that will involve crosstalk and the smashing of the flow of either the show or the bus tour. And if you've ever had to do bus tours for bucks and hens nights, you'll know what comedy hell is.
Although
usually you've got 20, 30 minutes of material. These things last 4 hours.
Kirsten shared the sad news: Dracula's Melbourne actually closed. And I just checked the website, and Dracula's Melbourne, after 37 years, has closed.
Because of coronavirus?
No, a property developer bought their building. There's still a Dracula's on the Gold Coast. I went to one in the suburbs like Fitzroy, or maybe a bit further out, that was called Hunchbacks. I don't know if that's still...
Hunchbacks sucked, though.
It did. Sucked. It was an unfortunate period in my life where I was going out with someone who was pretty fucking obsessed with it. And Witches in Britches is... Well, it might not be open because of coronavirus, but it exists as an entity. I know Witches in Britches, they used to do a new show once or twice a year. They'd actually write... Oh, good.
No, I'm actually on a nationally broadcast show, but don't you worry, because we like interrupting the
Ask
show.
one private question.
Ask
Do you open a bowel today?
I didn't open my bowels today.
Oh, someone is sorry.
That's okay. It's nationally.
No, he's allowed to share that with the world. That's okay.
So actually, it's a
you see this guy here when I talk about my boss all the time?
Hi, it's a Nurse Kathy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's my boss. And
hi,
Nurse Kathy here. Oh.
Hi, Kathy.
Yeah.
Look after our man. Everyone loves him.
Ask one very private question about his bowels. Nurse always worry patient can be constipated.
Yeah, he has no secrets from us, Kathy. He tells us that stuff.
The Australian public knows. In fact, the world public knows that I did not open my bowels today, and we need to increase my level of anti-constipation stuff.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. I didn't want on the show.
That's all right.
Thank you.
So how close are we to... Look at that. Look at that. We're 1 minute away from drugs o'clock.
Drugs o'clock. Oh, my
God. Or is it 9 o'clock I've got to wait till? Might be 9 o'clock I've got to wait till.
Well, we'll keep you distracted till 9 anyway.
The reason I'm late today is boss of the house turned up.
Oh, yeah.
After going to my place to collect more of this.
All right,
because
the stuff
I
that you
ran out of that.
actually don't have.
And he kindly picked it up, but he also saw the state of the house, and he was disgusted, and he cleaned up. And I said when I left that I thought it was pretty okay.
Yeah.
But there were cables and shit everywhere where they yanked out my computers and my stuff to get it here.
Yeah.
What he said was that the place was pretty foul, And I said, well, there was half the washing up to do, and I have asked you to do it for like 2 weeks. And I don't even know if he did it, but he said there was coffee all over the drawers, and I'm going, I might have missed that. Because what happened was I was hustled out the door really fast by my
Yeah,
friend.
not much ceremony.
No. And I think what was supposed to happen was I was supposed to do the rest of the house cleaning when I got back, just poodle around and do it until go time. And then I think in my mind I got it all done, but in reality none of it got done.
Yeah.
And I know that I vacuumed the floor the night before and got everything off the floor. And he said the carpet was unusually tidy, but there
Yeah.
was clutter everywhere. And so I also happen to think that my friend bumped into one of the bookcases and tipped everything off the top, which would have made clutter everywhere. And anyway, I've been at my boss of the house to buy some new chairs because my chair we bought together years ago, and he bought them, both of them, and they were beautiful. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
But mine's now lost all of its cushioning and smelled like urine.
Sorry.
So,
Shouldn't have laughed quite as much.
but you've been there, you know that it's lost all its cushioning and smells like urine.
Yeah.
So it's got to go. And he's found the new chairs that we're going to have. And I've said, have you bought them yet? Have you bought them yet? Because it's essentially my money that he's going to be using. And he's gone, no, no, no. And I'm going, fucking, I don't want to come back to a house with old chairs in it. There is a problem. The wheels are going to have to get unscrewed off the chairs. The arms are going to have to get unscrewed off the chairs, and they're all going to have to be folded out and then re-screwed up together and then taken out to the balcony or the roof to be donated as further chairs.
Right.
And the new chairs are going to come in IKEA boxes.
Yes.
The old chairs were bought from Harvey Norman.
Yeah.
So they were cheap but marked up to a huge price.
Yes.
And but still cheap. And the new chairs are from IKEA, so they'll be much better quality at a much reasonable price because they're thrown out of their flat pack style. And my boss of the house is also an engineer, and he, frankly, let's face it, adores putting things together. He put together our couch bed in 4 hours and had a fucking ball doing it. It was a very complicated job. And because the house was all in disorder and disarray, I sat in the corner freaking out because my Aspie side took over.
Yeah.
And everything was different and in disarray, and I couldn't handle it. And so I sat in the corner quietly crying as he got it together. And when he got it together, it was so beautiful that it fixed everything. And we were sleeping on a blow-up couch mattress, which for 3 months worked well.
Yeah.
Worked really well for
Yeah.
an emergency. That's what you do. And I'm going to have to really keep it down because it's go to bed time and everyone's trying to sleep.
Right. That's fair.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Continue as you are. You should be fine.
Good, okay. And so this blow-up mattress worked fine, but it was time. It was time. Anyway, we got this new thing in from IKEA. Came in 7 boxes. It's fucking enormous. And he just put it together. There must have been 200 steps. The the little yellow paper with the funny guy on it. that takes you through each step must have been 10 pages of that big bloody sheet they give you. Must have been 10 pages of that. And he just patiently went through everything. And he said, oh, look at that. They gave us a spare screw, a spare lock nut, a spare, and the lock nuts are the ones that you put in and you screw around and then you put a bolt through the other way and they hide inside. You know those ones?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. They're really awkward if you don't know what you're doing and you've got to be able to see through two sides. But they're really clever and they hold everything together really tightly. Every couple of years, boss of the house goes right through the bed and tightens everything. And you get on it again and you go, oh, that's better. So I'm looking really forward to our new chairs, but he still hasn't bought them. And he's decided because the delivery option last time was such an abortion that, well, because they say delivery next day, right? But they don't do the delivery; they hand it off to a delivery company. Well, the delivery company was just a farce, and we got it in 8 days. And I'm talking about 8 days after the overnight delivery. And they tried shit like, oh, you weren't home and we rang you. And it's like, no, we were home. We were waiting for you.
Yeah.
And they tried on shit like, oh, we rang the doorbell. There is no doorbell. You couldn't have rung the doorbell. And then when they finally got there, they tried on, oh, we're not going to take it up the stairs. And we're going, oh, no, you are taking it up the stairs all the way. And they were so shitty because my place is up 3 flights of stairs. Angry, you've been there. It's not an easy place to get to. Me coming out of rehab is going to be an interesting prospect, getting up and down the stairs. I think it's going to be slow for a while. Effectively, this rehab thing's gotten a little bit salty as well.
Yeah.
My feet are a lot better, but they're not great. I'm sort of okay on a stick, but there's no way my balance is back. And my hands, though my right hand has got better and I can write really big letters like a child, so that you could understand them. My handwriting's terrible. And my
You showed us
hand,
the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll show you some new notes that I did.
Okay. Lee's? Oh, yeah. Okay, no, practice is good, though, Matt. Practice is good.
See,
D's nuts. A's your notes. I thought it said D's nuts for a sec. But...
See?
Yeah. I think you're actually getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I just noticed Lee saying he and his family have been diagnosed with COVID, which is not good, but at least you'll be on the news, man. He also did assert that he's definitely not in Melbourne, but he can't vouch for his doppelganger, who may or may not be stalking you. So,
Lee, you're definitely not in Melbourne. Your fast jet was heard. I've put up microphones. See, what I like to do is escape during the day between drug handouts. And I put up microphones to listen for your heat signature, which I got off the internet. Lee, no one's safe anywhere. And if you've got a friend in DFAT, you're fucked. Frankly, Lee, your fast jet leaves a lot of heat behind and a noise that is very identifiable. Why you have to do this in costume, I don't know, but every superhero has their costume.
That's true.
You're just doing it because I'm the supervillain.
That could be it.
And we're taking the super out of supervillain because I'm just villainous. Supervillain doesn't fall out of bed reaching for a PowerPoint and then get in trouble with nurses. A supervillain would have nurses at his call saying, put me on a sedan chair and put me back in bed gently.
Yeah.
But that's not what happens.
No, not quite.
Go,
not
what
quite.
have you done? I fell off the bed in my sleep. In my sleep. My sleep. Still got in trouble for it. Scratched my leg. Scratch is probably not the word. The word is lacerate. 5 millimeters deep. 6 centimeters across. They had to put 3 layers of stitches and glue in it. And they put local anaesthetic all around it, which was nice of them. But of course, as we all know, local anaesthetic when it's going in hurts like a bitch. And it burns. And they were saying, because there were two of them doing it, and they said, is it burning yet? I'm going, yes. And they said, well, good, because now we have to do inside the wound.
Yeah. Oh, good. Damn.
I thought, I tell you what, let's swap and slam my cock in a car door, because that'll be less painful.
Yeah.
And so they did it, and then they stitched up the bottom part of the wound, where all the blood vessels were. Then they cleaned it out again with betadine and wiped it. Then they glued it. Then they stitched up the middle of the wound. And then they cleaned it with betadine and wiped it. And then they stitched up and then they betadined the top of the wound and wiped it. And I'm going, well, what was the local anaesthetic for? Because it hasn't done anything. And then they stitched it, and they said, unfortunately, these stitches won't be affected by the local, and you'll feel every one. And 11 stitches later, I'm going, I'll talk. Anything you want to know. Angry's bank account details. I'll talk. Where Angry keeps his teddy bear collection. I'll talk.
That's just my bed.
He has action figurines. I'll talk. And they were going, no, not until we put the glass test tube up your ass and smash it. Will we expect you to talk? No, I'll do it now. And then they finished, and then they gave me morphine up the arm.
Yeah.
All sins were forgiven. And they said, don't bother keeping it dry. We're going to put this bandage over it, and we're going to pick out the stitches when it's come to, and then keep on putting the bandage on. And then 2 days later, they picked the stitches out. Didn't hurt. They said, we're getting our expert in, and she got a thing that looked like a stitching quick unpick, you know?
Oh, yeah. Stitch unpicker, yeah.
Beep, right through, got a pair of tweezers, this way, then that way, then this way, then that way. And she's talking to me the whole time. And she's got this rhythm going. And I could feel them coming out, and there was a slight sting, but it was no big deal. And she says, oh, that one's got infected. Nasty. And says, this might give it a bit, and give it a squeeze, real big squeeze. And she said, I'm not supposed to do this. Big squeeze, pop, out comes the infection, out comes the glurg, and this boil thing, dead. And you could see the bag, and she says, oh, great, there's the bag. gets a fatter pair of tweezers, pulls it so gently, and there was this horrible gourd of goop, and she pulls it all out, right? Pulls it all out, and there's a marble, like a big tombola marble-sized thing in there, and goes, great, that's done. Plop. And you look in the hole, and it was tiny. There was nothing left. It was all gone. She'd just done this amazing job, picked out the last stitch, and said, right, we'll just put a bandage over that, and it'll be gone tomorrow. Swear to God, tomorrow, bandage came off. Stitch holes were
all
closed.
Healed. Yeah, nice.
You can see the scar where I cut myself.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't see anything else. Anyway, then the psych team and the med team and the physios and the main doctors came in and said, so you've fallen 6 times in 2 days. And I'm going, 2 of those were in my sleep, so they're freebies.
Yeah, they don't count.
And they've gone, you've fallen 6 times in 2 days. Where, because of the trauma that you experienced in your childhood, which we can't even begin to talk about in a normal way, poofed, bashed and raped every week for 7 years, just saying. Father who was a bastard.
He only buried you alive, man. He only buried
me alive once.
You know. And what more can we ask from our fathers than to not bury us alive more than once? Okay, I think it's just being greedy if you ask for more than that.
I think someone here's being selfish.
Yeah, it's selfish. It's selfish.
A selfish Generation X whiner.
If you go, I actually don't want to be buried alive ever, not even once. Entitlement. There's so much entitlement there.
What are you?
Yeah.
Get a job.
Get a job.
Get a casual job that gives you 17.5% loading.
Yeah. See my little man here? So I'm drinking. I made this last night, actually. This is one of my clarified drinks. This actually has Irish whiskey, vermouth, and green chartreuse in it. And then I clarified it with this. I've got this strawberry cream liqueur I'm trying to use up. And I said, well, that's cream-based. That will curdle when and this has also got like lemon juice in it to curdle it. That'll curdle when I put the cocktail in it. And then I can use the curds. And it worked. So this has actually got Irish whiskey, vermouth, green chartreuse, lemon juice, and strawberry chocolate liqueur in it. And it's really nice. Not as good as the clarified pina colada, but it's good.
You know, I am going to do one of these shows round your place on a weekend.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Trains run all night. And then I'm going to enjoy some of your cocktails while I'm on my cocktail.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see just how effective I am in the show. I'm guessing not much. But because halfway through, everyone will be going, go to bed, Aidsy. And you'll be going, he doesn't live here. There's no bed for him. He's wearing diapers. He's going home.
Yeah.
And so I'll be on the train at Flinders, and then at Flinders again, and then at Flinders again, and remember to get off at that point and get on my train, which will be an hour late, which will be an hour later, and I'll go to sleep. And then I'll wake up, and it was the second train, and I've been asleep for 2 hours, and then I got on a train.
I like to think I'd be charitable enough to send you home in a taxi. Like, you know, when you're a classy one-night stand, you don't make them walk down to a bus stop. You pay for a taxi.
I think if you were looking for the degradation, you throw the money. You throw the money at them naked, and you go, clothes on and get out, bitch, like you've done to me many times. And
But you love it.
I kind of do.
You kind of do.
That's
Do
the
you?
thing.
Did you ever see? It's one of the lesser known in Australia Eddie Murphy movies, like from the 90s or early 2000s, called Boomerang, where he's a player, like he's a guy who has sex with the ladies and he gets bored with them as soon as he's had sex with them, and it's all about he ends up getting played by this woman who just wants to use him for sex, and there's an incredibly funny scene where to try and impress her, he's bought tickets to a black film festival, but she hasn't shown up because she's stayed late at the office or something. And he's really miffed and goes home. And she comes around to shag him. And he says, like, hey, no, I bought tickets to this show and you disrespected me and didn't show up. And she's going, oh, baby, I'm so sorry. It was working there. And anyway, so they have sex. And then she gets up in the morning to go, oh, thanks, sweetheart. That was exactly what I needed. I was so tense. You know, you were perfect. And then she throws money on the dresser table and says, that's for the tickets. And he's sitting in bed, like pulling the sheets up to his chin, like, I feel so cheap and
I feel so dirty. I feel so dirty. It was really well done, too, in the way they must have done it 100 times.
Yeah,
because the way the money landed on the table with coins as well.
Yeah,
so that
just
the notes have
class.
landed, you know, like flared,
Yeah.
and the coins have just dropped and then slid, and it's like it's the most demeaning thing.
Yeah.
He did another movie which was similar.
Yeah.
Where he was working in an office full of women. And to get ahead, he sleeps with the boss. And the next day, all the women in the office know what he's done. And they all look at him and giggle and smile. And
I think that might even be the same movie because he thinks Eartha Kitt is the boss of the company. And he has sex with her. And everyone knows he had sex with her, but she's actually only a figurehead. She doesn't actually have any power in the company. So he thought he was going to get the job he wanted by sleeping with her. And Eartha Kitt's like 40 years older than him. And I still would. Jesus.
I was going to say, she's 80 now and I would still fuck her.
Yeah.
I have fucked an 82-year-old. So
yes, you have actually shared that story with us, which, you know, thank you.
I tell you what, if you ever get the chance to go with a very classy elder, do it. You may think, oh my God, there's wrinkles and sags everywhere. Mate, that's where you're going.
Yeah.
So think of that.
Yeah.
Think of that. She said to me, I said to her, you're gorgeous. And she says, you just say that. But I actually am. And I am clever and classy with it.
Yeah.
And I said, ooh, sassy words from the wonderful lady. And she said, boy, I could bed you in 4 hours. And I went, okay.
Yeah.
And I just on a whim said, okay.
Yeah.
And she said, all right, it starts when we get in the taxi. And so I got my watch on. We got in the taxi and I said, it is 5 minutes past 1 o'clock. Yeah. And I said, so did you secure the day pass? And she said, I don't do day passes. But we are now out of the building with no authorization, because this is an old folks home. We have entered the
Oh,
building
okay,
with no
cool.
authorization. I am now, because I have to supervise her while she's out of the building. So
Yeah.
I'm covered. And then as soon as I get back, she said, just say that I told you I had a pass, and then when you asked me about it, I lied. And you'll be fine, don't worry. And at that point, I didn't care, trust me.
Yeah.
And she took me out to lunch. Lunch was almost 2 hours at one of the high class restaurant clubs in Canberra. It was where politicians went, and we saw many of them, and they would say hi to her and be deferent, and they would look at me and smile and go and wink and walk away, and I'd go, what the fuck is this? Later on, I knew what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
During lunch, I was her puppy dog. At the end of lunch, I would have done anything she wanted.
Yeah.
Turned out that I did do anything she wanted, because
There
we
you
went
go.
up to a room that in the time I took to get a taxi, she'd got a room at the Hyatt Hotel. I've just named the bloody place. At the Hyatt
That's
Hotel
okay.
in Canberra.
Yeah.
She'd got a room, paid for it. They knew her. They knew what was going to go on. She'd done it before. And I turn up, and I used to think that I was quite ugly when I was very young, and I was very grateful for any sex I got. At the time she bedded me, I wasn't a virgin, but I was young and I was new. And she said, you're not to try anything on. I'm going to guide you. I'm going to tell you. You're going to do as you're told.
Yeah.
And I did what I was told.
Sorry, just not laugh.
But lunch itself was a life lesson
Yeah.
in class. And the waiter came up, and I was very polite. And she said, darling, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to do this with a bit of class. Watch me and then talk next time. And I'd had about 6 drinks by the end of lunch, so I was fucking hammered. And they weren't just drinks, they were cocktails, they were
Yes.
spirits, they were just good.
I was just thinking on the older women front, Charlie's given us the sad news that Eartha Kitt's actually dead. I'm not even sure that would slow AIDSy down, actually. But
It's not going to slow AIDSy down.
no. I was thinking, as soon as we're saying this, I'm thinking of Helen Mirren. She's 74, and hell yes. Hell yes.
In a heartbeat.
I know she'd have nothing to do with me, but
that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You look at these women and go, I'm so taking you to bed. And then they look at me and go, boy, nice try. But I've got something that's so much better than you. And I do.
I think Helen Mirren.
Anyway, I used to think I was quite ugly. And I found out later that I was actually quite beautiful. And she thought I was quite beautiful, and all the ladies of the old folks' home thought I was quite beautiful. And for the next 2 days, they were really salty with me, and they were really nasty to her, because they had gotten what she had gotten, what everyone else wanted. And they were really salty that I had agreed to go with her and not them.
Yep.
And but during lunch, she said she taught me how to speak to wait staff, and she taught me how to speak to the help. She taught me how to speak to politicians, and every person you speak to, it's got to be collegiate, and it's got to be like your long lost friends, and you've got to find out what they want immediately. You read all the tells in their body, you read all of the signs that they're saying, and you listen to what they're saying. And with wait staff,
Yep.
I've said this 100 times,
Yeah.
they've got stories,
Yes.
they've got lives, they're
Yeah.
people,
Yes.
and you are their best friend.
Yeah.
And you also never forget that wait staff have ears.
Yes.
They have ears and they have eyes. And don't you believe for a second they haven't seen and heard everything you've said. Because when this lady was ready to take us upstairs,
Yeah.
she said, well, I think it's time to go upstairs. Tony and the waiter was there immediately. And she said, would you prepare a bottle of champagne and some dessert liqueurs for our room? And he said, I'm sorry to be so presumptuous, but it's already been done. And she said, that's why I love you guys. You're so efficient in what you do. Darling, take $20 out of the card for yourself. And in fact, if you pump up the bill by 1,000 and share it among the chefs and the rest of everyone, in fact, take 50 for yourself. And I want Andrew to have 50, and then cut up the 1,000 amongst everyone, because you've all been so lovely, and you didn't have to be. And I know that you went the extra yard for me today. And he's gone, darling, you don't have to pay us, you know that. And she says, but I appreciate what you do, and you don't get enough, not from these fat politician bastards. And and she's gone, well, it's time for me to take my guest and show him our suite. I'm showing off. And he said, well, we've prepared a big show off for you. Our staff have taken your things upstairs, so if you'd like to follow Pedro, he will take you to your room. And Pedro did not speak to us. And I was sort of looking at her, and we were halfway up the elevator, and she said, the reason is Pedro is instructed not to speak to us until he is spoken to. Pedro, I would like you to explain to my friend your journey to Australia. And he goes, ma'am, I thank you very much. Well, sir, I was smuggled into this country inside the baggage compartment of a 767 on the way from Mexico. And it was a long flight, and we'd organized an entire baggage bin for myself. And we had a porta potty and some extra food and a tiny little television and a video and a stack of videos. It was surprisingly comfortable. I had a little mattress in there, and the container was taken to a truck, and the truck was taken to my friend's house. We cleared out the container and sent the container back to the airline, and it was quite illegal. And we faked some documents, and my new name is Pedro. And I said, that is amazing.
It's a good story.
What was your name before it was Pedro? And he said, oh, Charlie the axe murderer.
You keep making me snort. Like this is a game we have. If one of us make the other one snort laugh, you get a point. You've got me twice tonight, and I haven't got you at all.
Fucking, I'm looking at Pedro going, well, how did you pick up that nickname? Then he said, well, I used to be involved in the drug trade from Colombia, and I had decided that it was time to maybe raise my children in a different environment, one where they could learn English much easier, because that is, of course, the language of business these days. So I thought Australia was a place that my former Confederates would not follow me. And I said, because it's too far away. Oh, no, because the police don't get bribed here. They would all get arrested when they got off the plane. Yes, it was a wise move, but I still get expected to get shot one day, which is why I have taken out several life insurance policies on myself and my family, and they all control the clause of getting murdered. Here's your floor.
That's fair. I just wanted to note you've inspired a few people in chat. Charlie saying old ladies have the best stories, and Stella saying she wants to be a rich, horny old granny. So, there you go.
Do it. Yeah. And she basically taught me things about class. No, I'm not talking about class system. I'm talking about being a classy person. That I'm still unwrapping today. I'm still unfolding these lessons today.
Yeah.
And it was, I was 16, so I'm 50 now. So take 16 off 50, that's 34 years ago.
Okay.
It's 34 years ago. And, what's funny? I will never tell you her name, because that's one of the things she taught me.
Yeah.
You never, ever talk about a lady's age or a lady's name after you've been with her.
Yes.
And you never, it was very clever, she said, never look inside a lady's handbag, because you are bound to be disappointed with what you find.
When we were talking about this, I felt compelled to look up some info on Helen Mirren, and I found, to my surprise, she was shacked up with Liam Neeson in the 80s. They met on the set of Excalibur, and she is actually married now, although she, in her early years, swore she would never get married. But she did get married in 1997 to a dude she'd been with since 1986, and they're still married. So there is that. So how old is...
What's her best friend, Dame Ruth?
Cracknell?
Dame Ruth or Dame... No? The one that played M in...
Judi Dench.
Judi Dench and Helen Mirren get together all the time, and they are the baddest girls in the world.
They could do whatever they wanted to me, the two of them.
They fucking tear up London whenever they're together.
Yeah.
Because imagine, they can walk in anywhere and say, darling, can we have a table? And it's like, you family of four, fuck off. But we're not finished our hors d'oeuvres. Get out. Judi Dench and Helen Mirren are here.
Judi Dench, just for sheer class, man. They could make me do whatever they wanted.
Oh yeah, I'd be sitting in birdcage, in the golden birdcage, shackled and covered in feathers. Just like that scene out of, I can't remember the name of the TV. Anyway, so this old lady during lunch seduced me, and then when we went upstairs to bed, showed me things that I just didn't know
Yeah.
you could or should do.
Yes.
And she taught me that your body is a sensual place, that you should take all of your body and
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah.
And that smell is very important.
Yeah.
These days, to get a bit graphic, I always smell, I'm just going to say my lovers
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
and it powerfully makes you ready for whatever comes next.
Yeah.
And it's usually me.
Yeah. Ooh, nice one. Sorry, a few good references to the handbag line. Charlie is saying if you went in her bag, it'd be receipts and lozenge wrappers. And Annette, yeah, also got told by her mum, never put your hand in a lady's handbag. So there you go. It's good. I among my drinks tonight, I've just been enjoying prize winner for the best pre-mixed cocktail in the world, an Australian beverage, the Starward New Old Fashioned. So it's a sweetened Starward whiskey, which is what an old fashioned is. It's basically a sweetened whiskey with bitters, and this has their own secret house-made bitters with a bunch of Australian botanicals in it. So it's a completely unique taste. It's very good. I wish I had some orange because it's even better if you peel off a bit of orange rind and squeeze the oils onto it. But it's perfect with that, but it's very good without it.
Yeah, it sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of a topper that this old lady taught me. I told you about the staff. You've got to treat them collegially.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. That's the thing. They're not your friends. They're not your friends. They're your colleagues. You're eating lunch. They're serving lunch. Right? You're not their best mate. You're their colleague. But colleagues can be very friendly. They can become best mates, but you're not their best mate now. You've just met them. But you're very friendly with them and extraordinarily respectful for them. And one of the tricks is if you want something else, catch them before they go and tell them, sorry, I wanted to save your legs and ask you for this and this as well, so that they don't have to come back. But if you miss them and they go, wait 15 minutes and then ask for it. Don't get them back every 3 minutes because that's really infuriating because you just were in the kitchen. Why didn't you just fucking ask for it then? So you fucking pace your time, be collegiate with your help. Sometimes you'll get room service, you'll both be in bed, and you'll be in flagrante delicto. And she taught me just pull the covers up, just sit up slightly, covering yourself completely from the neck down, and say, we're not as decent as we should be, but yes, please. And in they'll come, they'll trolley the stuff in and say, you say, thank you very much. There'll be something on the tray for you when you come and collect. Most appreciated. And you talk as if nothing's wrong. as if this is the most normal thing in the world.
Mm.
And so many times I've been caught naked, or I've had to walk from the shower down to my room without a towel, or I've had to. One time, I just got out of the shower and I had a towel wrapped around my waist,
Yeah.
and they were trying to get the top off a jar of roll mop
Yeah.
pickles, and this is in Bathurst University.
Yeah.
And I had the towel around my waist, and they said, "Can you get it off?" And I dropped the towel. I am stark fucking naked. I get this jar and pop, open it goes, and I hand it back. And everyone just fucking launched into applause,
Yeah.
like it was the coolest thing they'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And I pulled my towel up and I said, "Can you save a couple for me?" And I went back into my room and got dressed. If you're going to do something outrageous, act as if it's the most normal thing in the world. I'm serious. If you are somewhere where you're not supposed to be, it's the most normal thing in the world. If you are clearly committing a crime, it's the most normal thing in the world. If you are about to do something obviously wrong, it's the most normal thing in the world. I have escaped hospitals. I have escaped
Yes.
custody. I
Yes.
was arrested once in a demonstration that turned into a riot, and unfortunately, the police, in their haste, forgot to handcuff both my hands. They just handcuffed me to a rail, and I was a big boy back in the day, and I went, "I really don't want to go to jail, because this will be the fifth time I appear in front of a judge as a minor, but 3 times is usually enough." And because I was nice in court, they gave me time off, time off. You don't go to jail. But I thought, this will be the fifth time. You can't push it that much. So I yanked this rail off the
Yeah.
wall of the truck, and I pushed the handcuff out, cuffed the other cuff around my wrist loosely, because I don't like tight things, and then I've kicked the door with all my might, and then popped out. And I'm walking away from this police car. A policeman says, "Oi," and I say, "Oh, hi there. How you doing? This has gone crazy, hasn't it?" And I've kept on walking away from the riot around the corner and got on the fucking bus. Said to the bus driver, "Look, I haven't got any money, but I was just in this riot. It's quite scary. Do you mind if I just get out of the trouble?" And he's gone, "Yeah, young kid, he's already been hit, obviously. Didn't know it was with a police baton." And I rode on that bus. It wasn't the bus to my place. It was the bus that was fucking going somewhere away from the police.
Yeah,
And
that's all you wanted. Yeah.
it took me an hour and a half to get home. And by that time, the bleeding had stopped. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, this one big, long line had fucking welted and reddened up under my nose and across my... It was just obviously a baton hit. And I get home and my mum goes, "Jesus, I saw on the TV and I thought I saw you get hit by that policeman and
Yeah.
arrested, and it was you." And then I've gone, "Yeah, I've got another little problem too." And I showed her my new bracelet, and she said, "Jesus, Adrian, I'll tell you what, we'll deal with the worst problem first. irony of ironies, it was the welt across my face. So she's got out this ice and brought it down like a miracle and put this cream on it.
Yeah.
I think it was a mix of arnica and aloe vera. She's put it on my face, and the welt's gone straight down. The bleeding has stopped, so she just said, I'm just going to clean up, don't touch your nose. And my dad gets home, and he says, so, son, how'd you get the handcuffs on? And I said, oh, fuckwit at school. Thought it was a funny joke. And said, you'll have to go to a police station to get it off, so I'll go on the weekend, I guess.
Yeah.
And he said, wait there. And he goes up into Mum and Dad's room, comes back with a little key ring that I never knew he had. Fiddle, 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 click, nut, fiddle, 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 click, pop, click, pop. My dad has handcuff keys.
You never know when they're handy.
Why did my dad have handcuff keys?
He's a man who likes to be prepared. Incidentally, we could hear someone in your room was watching something. Charlie thought it sounded like porn. She thought she could hear some rather impassioned screaming coming from the TVs. Oh, and Annette wants to know what riot you were in. Is that telling too many tales if you mention a specific riot that you were in?
Oh no, it was it was one of the 3 nuclear protests we did at the head office of North Limited.
That's our age group, anti-nuclear protests.
Yeah, it was basically the company that. So there was 4 uranium mines in Australia at the time. Now there's 10.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not very well publicised. Who fucking knew? There were 4 uranium mines, and they promised us that they would only be sold to countries who were using them for peaceful
purposes. Yes.
Peaceful nuclear reactors. And then they sold a shipload of uranium to the French. And it was a lot of uranium. It was way too much uranium.
Yeah.
And anyone with a calculator and a physics degree started to say, that's too much. That's way too much for their 8 reactors. If they powered their 8 reactors on Australian uranium that they were getting in one hit, one hit, and uranium has a half-life, so you want to use it straight away. You want to refine it and use it straight away. They said they'd have enough uranium for the next nearly 800 years.
Yeah.
And so clearly what they were doing was turning it into plutonium and turning it into bombs. Because the French is a bomb
maker
country.
They're a weapons manufacturer.
Bombs, and of course it's never been proved, but it's been thought they sell bombs as well through Belgium, because Belgium is the arms capital of the world. It's fucking crazy how this stuff works. So anyway, we knew that the North Limited, who had organised the sale to France and was finishing the sale to France because they wanted it even more, and we said, you've done too much already, you can stop. Now, there's protests, okay? Protests are where you have signs and you march saying don't, and they're good if you've got enough people. Politicians do listen. If you shut down a city, politicians listen. If your protest is 5.5 kilometres long in its parade, that's a sign. But demonstrations are a demonstration of power and intent. What demonstrations usually mean is that we will shut you down. So typically what demos do is they will go to an office building of an enemy company and they will break in and occupy the first 3 or 4 floors. We always herded the workers down the back stairs with marshals at each landing going this way, this way, this way. Don't run. You're not in any danger. Don't run. And we had marshals out the back who would then funnel them to ambulances and police. That was the dirty secret that the police knew, that the demonstrators would always get the office workers out safely and in single file get them to police. The police would marshal the police would marshal the office workers and make sure they had enough, because they had lists of office workers. They knew who was sick that day. So, the demonstrators had no interest in hurting office workers or taking them hostage or hurting, the fucking working dogs. That was not fair. But above the 4th floor, that was where you started to get management. And we wanted them to stay exactly where they were as we trashed usually we trashed the first 4 floors where all the working dogs were. And the irony was the managers did fuck all. They were the VP of wank. They were the VP of cleaning office desks. And they all got ridiculous pays for doing nothing and yelling at fucking secretaries. And so all the people who did all the work were gone, and all of their records, because remember, this is the 80s, most of it's on paper. We would break into filing cabinets and start to tear up documents, and we would shred. If there was a shredding machine, we would shred stuff. We would make little fires, and we would do them on the landings where there were less fire extinguishers. Nowadays you see fire extinguishers on the landings, but back then you didn't. And also it bothered the people in the floors above because they could smell smoke, and they would be madly calling the police, "We can smell smoke, we think they've lit up the building on fire." And the police would go, "We're a bit stretched here at the moment," because there'd be like 1,000 people punching on outside. And the other thing that would happen is that we'd have teams in parks who would start bonfires, and these bonfires would then be spread around the park, and the fire brigades would have to come and put out these bonfires. And as they put out these bonfires, they'd start up again. Because what they'd done was they'd coated the wood and the ground. They'd dig a hole in the ground, and there's a particular thing called incense charcoal, and it has inside it little sparkly things that light the charcoal. And you put enough of this stuff in any place and coat wood with it, that when you douse it with water, it'll go out, and then the sparks will start up again. So these fucking fires would not go out. And we also used to put fuel in the wood. We just put a lot of work into this. We'd drill holes in the wood and pour this specially formulated chemical fuel in there, which would seep through the wood, and it also would go out but then exothermically start up again.
Yeah.
So these poor bugger firemen were trying to put out these bonfires in parks. So you've got one bonfire in the middle, which is huge, and then you've got 16, 18 bonfires around it, which keep on lighting. And as they're trying to put them out, the middle bonfire lights, so there's no fire, there's no police, but there were always ambulance on standby. We never ever fucked with the ambulance. We always made sure they were available in case police got hurt, or demonstrators not so much, but we had enough sympathetic doctors that we would run them off straight away to our background and underground doctors who would fix them up. We had sympathetic nurses, and remember too, they were paid well. These demos of North Limited were very well organised, and they were organised a week in advance. It was very cleverly done. They do things like, it was like a 3-day demo, and they do things like people would dye their hair green, blue, red, and the people who dyed their hair red were the generals, the people who dyed their hair green were the majors, and the people who dyed their hair blue were the captains. And you were in a platoon with that captain. That captain was in a brigade with that major. The major was being directed by the 4 generals. And so we would split off as brigades to do different tasks. 2 brigades would go into the building and occupy it. There'd be auxiliary staff getting the office workers out. Once we got the word that the office workers was out, it was on. Windows were smashed, doors were smashed. All these places had glass frontage. Not very secure. Not when you've got a brick and a hammer.
Not when you've got a brick. As kids, for the coming revolution, keep a brick and a pair of bolt cutters handy. Those will be your tools.
Those will be your tools. Don't bother trying to hide them down your pants. Just make sure that you're in the middle of the team, and when it comes time, they will allow you up the front to do your work.
Sorry, I just saw a simple yet very big question in the chat. Justin's come in and said, "Hey, what's AIDSy doing in the hospital?" Both a simple and yet a very, very big question.
Right. It appears that because of an experiment with drugs, where I was trying a drug that was well known, which was nitrous oxide, and it's been well known for 250 years. Its side effects are known. I was trying out its anaesthetic qualities, which were fantastic. Downside, very expensive. Another downside is one of the side effects is that it shrinks your cerebellum. Bit of a downer in that it wipes out your motor skills and your ability to cognitively think of language. Cognitively thinking of language is pretty much my job. If I'd have lost my cognitive ability to talk at all, you wouldn't be seeing me on this live stream. My phone would be confiscated, and my computer would be confiscated because Angry would have no further use for me. I would be made redundant.
Which sounds harsh, but at the slightest provocation, I would definitely throw him on the garbage pile. So,
I was hoping you'd say under the bus. Oh no, you've had thrown me under the bus many times. No, on the garbage pile. And it's not so much the pile as the pyre, because once every month a match goes on that garbage pile, and you get Gehenna with AIDSy on the top going, please, please ignore Leviticus, let me off the pile. I've learned to speak again. And you go, what's the name of the band that sang "Send Me an Angel"? And I'd go, "Real life, please let me go." And you'd go, "No, for you are poofter and evil." And that'd be a fair cop. It'd be a fair cop.
Just a fair.
The trouble is, boss of the house would be standing there watching, going, "Can you not?" And you'd be going, "No, it has to happen." And you'd be going, "Yep, fair
Yeah,
enough."
fair.
And then
fair.
it'd be the
Harsh,
only
but fair.
conversation we'd get off him. Are there any other questions?
No, that was I thought a good one. Poor bloody Justin coming in and going, "Oh, what the fuck?" Justin clearly hasn't been in a live stream for a little while, going, "What the fuck is AJ doing in hospital?"
Yeah,
he's asking, "Are you hearing anything about COVID in the hospital?"
Quite a bit.
Because they got really strict rules. I've gone in to visit the man, and they got really strict rules about that.
Really strict rules. You're only allowed to have 2 visitors a day. They're only allowed to be here for 2 hours at a time. And the visiting hours have been cut back severely.
Yeah.
There's only a 6-hour window in which you're allowed to visit.
Yeah.
And
they
really
temperature check you when you come in, and they take all your details for contact tracing if that becomes necessary. So they're pretty serious about it.
It's just such a pain in the ass that so many people don't bother to visit me. I'm saying that's what it is. It's actually I don't have any friends, and everyone hates me. Boss of the house got kicked out tonight.
Yeah.
Usually they let him fucking hang for 20 minutes or so. No.
The reason I didn't visit you this weekend is doing the right thing. Young Mazangri actually had a COVID test on Friday, and we won't get the results till early this week. Now, we said get the test because she was coughing all night Thursday night, and I'm more than 99% sure she doesn't have the Rona. But in the current environment, the responsible thing to do if someone is up coughing all night is get the test. So we won't hear about it for a couple of days yet. But yeah, Saturday was going to be a big day. I was going to go to see, oh my God, I've had too many drinks, can't remember. But I was going to get my computer upgraded on Saturday. I was going to visit the Bitters Lab in Fitzroy, and because that's just around the corner from where you are, I was going to come in and see you. But yeah, Mrs. Angry said, "Hey, should you really do those things?" While it would be super embarrassing if you had to say, on the tiny chance this household test comes back positive, it would be a bit embarrassing to have to call everyone you interacted with and went, oh, someone in my household was getting tested for Rona, and I came and saw you anyway, and then they tested positive. Abigail, thank you, Invisible Chicken. Fuck, that's really embarrassing that I forget names and other people remember them. But it would be really embarrassing if I had to
You're
go.
not saying other people, you're saying AIDSy.
Yeah. No, it was you and Abigail and the people at the Bitters Lab having to call them and say, I saw you on Saturday and I'd actually been exposed to the Rona. Sorry. It's almost definitely not going to happen. But it was in this modern age, one wants to be responsible, because it would be super fucking embarrassing if in this tiny possibility the test came back positive, that I then became like a disease vector and had to tell a bunch of people, ooh, I did the wrong thing and went and visited you while I was waiting for a Rona test to come back. And I'd be in the news and I'd be really embarrassed. So I didn't do it, which was annoying because it was stuff I wanted to do.
Do you remember the AIDS days?
Yes.
And when the tests came back, or it didn't even matter, when you got tested, you had to start writing up lists
Yes.
of all the people you'd slept with.
Yeah.
And one time, me and my girlfriend, for reasons that were pretty ugly, actually, she got assaulted. She had to get a test, and she said, "You realise, of course, you have to write up a list as well." And I go, "Oh, okay, that could be awkward." And she said, "Yes, it could, but I'll help you." And so we went right back into ancient history and basically said, um, look, the letter read, look, um, my partner's been tested for HIV and she's come back positive. Um, Please go and get a test yourself. So that's what the letter said. But we realised we would have to photocopy them and put
Yeah.
dear, place the name in up the top, because we calculated that I'd slept with 103 people
Yeah.
by the time uni came around, and it was awkward because by that time we also knew that HIV could sit dormant in you for a while, and you could have dormant HIV until it jumped into AIDS. And I was, a bit freaked. My girlfriend at the time, I was so lucky. She thought it was the funniest thing because I would remember a few names and she'd say, "What about blah and blah and blah and blah?"
Yeah.
And I'd go, "Oh, yeah." And we'd write them down. And then we had this pad of paper we were using. And she said, "This is fucking great. You've used 7 pages and we're not up to uni." And I've gone, "Yep." And then we went through uni and did another 5 pages. And we said, "Do we separate it into boys and girls?" And I said, "There's really no need. We just photocopy this thing 120 times and just type in the names.
Yeah.
It's going to look impersonal, but everyone knows who I am. Everybody knows that I am the slut of Mitchell, and so they're just gonna accept it. We're not even going to put stamps on most of the letters. We're just going to hand deliver them. And the test came back and it was negative, and so I kept the list for a while just because it was nice to go back and remember these people, because a lot of these people had only been with once, but a lot of these people I'd spent like a full-on weekend with, a 4-day weekend, or like a month with, knowing that it was going to be,
Yeah.
over. And some of these people I'd spent years with in a committed relationship.
Yeah.
But one of the things that was always weird about me was someone said to me, "Oh, you're classic, you're the serial monogamist."
Yes.
And I
Yes.
was.
Yeah.
I never slept around. I never was
Can't juggle
unfaithful.
multiple people, but we'll quickly move on to the next person. Yeah.
Well, I only ever once was in the position where I was sleeping with 5 people at once, and they didn't know about each other. And the stupid thing I did was I told them that I loved them.
Sorry, just the magnanimous. There was only once that I was sleeping with 5 people at once. I think I've juggled 2 people, but that's about it.
After that, when I was sleeping with multiple people, I would tell everyone that I was sleeping with multiple people, and they were either cool with it or they weren't. and if they were cool with it, they'd bloody, let it be. And in fact, I'd only ever managed to do that with 3 people at once 4 times. And 3 times they were all curious to get together as a group with all of us.
Oh my God.
And
God.
setting those nights up is really hard to organise, because you've got to organise a night where everyone's free the next day. You've got to organise the drugs. You've got to organise the food. You've got to organise the house, because you're always sharing.
Sounds like trying to organise a Dungeons and Dragons night. Really
It
complicated.
is.
Really
It's
complicated.
really complicated, because you've got to get the right mix of food and the right ambience.
Yeah.
And you've got to, let's face it, you've got to clear out your bowel. Because you don't want to stop the proceedings to go for a poop or a fart fest all night. That's not cool.
No.
You set up the rules early in the night while you're still having drinks and hors d'oeuvres. And the rules are, no one does anything they don't want to do. If anyone says stop, you stop. And if anyone wants something, they speak up. Because we don't know psychically what you want. And we decide now if everyone wants to turn being princess. Princess is where you're basically starfishing on the bed and
the centre of attention.
Everybody's having a go. It's fun. It's fun.
And as Annette's saying, she doesn't juggle, doesn't have the necessary executive functioning for that. I haven't since my 20s, honestly. It's too much stress.
I never have.
I think I kind of juggled 3 people at once, but with the 2 who were casual, it was never a secret that they were casual. And when the 3rd came along, they became the one. And I had to tell the 2 casual people, like, no, I've actually found someone who's the one, and nothing personal, but won't be actually indulging in the casual action with you anymore. Which they took relatively well. Oh, big question from Annette, AZ. Have you done baby oil naked twister before?
Bayview.
Baby oil, like basically, naked.
Oh yeah.
Naked twister with lubricant.
I've done naked twister, but not with baby oil, because you can get really injured. And I saw at an orgy people playing naked twister with baby oil, and one girl broke her leg. You can imagine what it's like when the ambulance turns up and everybody's naked. What is sensational is the ambulance drivers ignored everything but the girl with the broken leg.
They've seen
fucking everything. I mean, they talk about it after.
Oh yeah, they tell everyone.
The girl with broken leg in the
my brother's a paramedic.
That was from an orgy.
My brother's a paramedic, and he deals with the weird shit by retelling the stories like he's a stand-up comedian.
Oh, you have to. I told everyone, I think last week, wasn't it? The funniest thing I've ever seen in hospital was all the staff racing toward a cubicle in ER, giggling and persisting, and they all stood around this cubicle, but not so they could be seen inside the cubicle. And then, shit. Sorry. Quite loudly from inside the cubicle could be heard a guy saying, "I put it up there for sexual pleasure and now I can't get it out. Okay, that's what the story is. And all the doctors and nurses went away really disappointed, like, oh, because usually they come in with a story like, oh, I was going through the window and I fell on it.
Yeah.
Or I was doing carpentry on the roof at 2 o'clock in the morning and it got stuck up there.
Yeah. An ex of mine who was a nurse, and she actually did her uni nursing training in Wagga Wagga, which is like country New South Wales towards the Victorian border. But anyway, she said like one time when they were on their prac at the Wagga Wagga hospital, a dude came in who they knew, and he's got a carrot stuck up his ass, like it's wedged halfway, and I don't know, he's just muscle spasmed and clenched, and it can't move. And they were trying to, what could we do, muscle relaxation? But they couldn't stop laughing because it was someone they knew with a carrot stuck up his ass. And they're saying, like, dude, it's cool, it's cool.
I thought you said parrot. And I was going, that's not as cool as it sounds.
No, that's not cool. A parrot up your ass. No, it was just a carrot
up your ass.
It was
that's
parrot up your ass is not
you're
cool.
calling the RSPCA.
Not cool.
Who've got
not
an
cool.
interesting report to write up.
Not cool. But they laughed so much, he eventually indignantly left. And they found out this is a country town, right? And he drove to another hospital that was half an hour away. And they were like, how did he drive? This 2 inches of this carrot was sticking out of his ass. How did he drive to this next town with this? And they were just stunned at his ingenuity at having managed to drive to the next town with a carrot up his ass.
You could lean forward enough on the chair to lean on your muscles and not have it.
Sorry, I'm about to go to bed, but Mimsy's just come into the kitchen. She might come and say, meow, come here, silly cat. Come here. Go up and say hello to people before I go to bed. No, she's fucking off. Okay, fine. Mimsy's fucking off.
Mimsy.
I'm gonna fuck off too.
Bitch.
I know she is a bit.
Let's have the smallest conference after you log off.
Sure. Okay. I'm going to say goodbye to you fine and sexy people in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to go to bed now. So take care, one and all.
Thank you so
hope to
much
see you again soon.
for letting me on your device, good people. It's really a grand and humbling thing that you go, Aidsy, you're not a cunt. So thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
Almost definitely won't be on tomorrow night, be otherwise occupied, but I'll be on during the week, so look out for notifications. Take care, one and all. See you later. Bye for now. Bye.